Welcome back to another episode of Chanel in the City. I'm your host, Chanel Omari, and we have a very special guest here today. I've looked up to him since I was a kid. He's the reason why I got into comedy and acting. He's the reason why many of us have got into the entertainment business. He is so genuine. He is an actor, a comedian. He's a producer. He's a writer. What can't this man do? From the Living Color days to his movie classics like Booty Call, he's a legend and forever an inspiration in entertainment. Please welcome our dear friend, Tommy Davidson. How are you, Tommy?
Good.
Was that a good intro? I hope
Yeah.
I did. I was a little nervous.
No, you did good.
Okay. Okay.
Put a nose in that, yeah.
I love it. How are you?
Hey, that's not a nose! Just kidding.
Excuse my laugh. It's very loud.
Hey, that's not a nose!
Hey, that's not a nose. How are you doing during quarantine, by the way? How is this experience as a performer?
It's been great, to get a break, because not only do I perform, but I create. So it gave me all the creative time that I needed. I mean, as you can see, I am in a creative space,
Yes.
So it was all about that, and I was able to just kind of, thanks to the creativity God of this universe, I was able to harness in and finish a lot of stuff that I couldn't finish when I was working.
Right.
So it's been great. Seeing what's been going on hasn't been so great, but the greatest thing about that is love trumps hate.
Love trumps hate. Yeah, and we're gonna get into.
Yeah, there's no way around it.
There's no way around it, right? And which is hard, right? Coming from love is the hardest thing. I mean, I think I'm gonna say this again. It's an honor right now for me to be interviewing you, because whenever I had upsetting moments in life, dark times, I would watch your movies. I would watch.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I would watch your stand-up, and I saw how much love you had, and I saw that you always came from love, and I was like, how does this man, who I'm sure struggled and had his obstacles in the business, which is the most cutthroat competitive business, how does he still come from love? How does he still grace us with laughs? So
have a handbook on that.
Yeah. Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah. Have the handbook.
Oh, that's right. We're going to get into the book, Living in Color, Tommy Davidson, which, by the way, I just ordered my copy. I can't wait to get it.
Just now?
I know. I'm
hey!
No, not just now, actually. So talk to us, about the book. Talk to us about what inspired you in general to get into this industry when, even as a minority, as a Black man, what's going on today with systematic racism and injustice. Talk to us about what you've struggled through.
Well, with me getting in the business was totally random, but I was ready. A friend of mine, Howard, I just got a job as an assistant chef at a Ramada at like 18. That's like stellar. And he says, hey, I say I got a job at Ramada, and he goes, you're the stupidest mother I ever met in my life. If I had the talent you had, I would be out in Hollywood making movies. No one could touch you. I'm like, yeah, whatever. You just mad because you ain't got no job. So he kept on me for months and months and months. I'm like, Howard, what is wrong with you? So finally got me 5 minutes on stage at the worst strip club in the face of the earth. Okay. And he said, I talked the guy into letting you do 5 minutes. So he comes to my house and I'm like, okay, I'll try it. And get in my little Datsun B210. Boom! Radiator bust in the middle of February. So he gets right on the bus. He goes, I'll be back next week, fix that damn radiator. He came back. I looked at the guy. The guy was like, you got 5 minutes. And I was like, okay. Then I turned to Howard. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And he looked me in the eyes. He said, I don't care what you do. Just say something. And from the first thing I said, they laughed. And I'm sitting here with you. I mean, that's exactly how it happened. Yeah.
And you wrote your own jokes at the time? I mean, that's
to this day.
To this day.
Well, it really wasn't jokes then. It was just real stuff that happened to me. So it just went from there. So I went from being a natural to mastering the technique. You see, that was the part. And the way I transcended most of the problems in my life were, one, I just had great teachers of life. My mom was the first one. She found me in a pile of trash in Mississippi. she was inspired by, she walked by and said something told me to look under this big tire that was on this pile of trash. And so she pulls up the tire and she sees my foot. So she digs the trash out of the way. And here I am. I'm there. I'm unconscious. I had on a T-shirt that said, "I will be president in 20," and then the rest was ripped. So
No
went to the
way.
hospital. Yeah, I went to the hospital for 90 days. I didn't think I would live. I was malnourished, in mild coma, had contusions in my skull. Someone had beaten me. And I lived and grew up in Fort Collins, Colorado, and Wyoming, and Laramie, Wyoming. My family is white, and I didn't know they were until we moved to Washington, D.C. when her and her husband broke up, and the black kids beat our ass every day. I was 5. We moved into D.C. during the riots, the King riots. So this is all, everything that's going on is autobiographical for me.
Yeah, it's almost like history's repeating it.
Oh, you better believe it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And they were saying to my sister and my brother, white crackers, and calling me a white cracker lover. So I go to my mom and I'm like, why are they calling me a white cracker lover? I like graham crackers.
It's so charming. Yes.
You know what I mean? I'm
right,
like what the hell?
There was no like color and
yeah, who likes white crackers? They're dry. You got to have water with them. You know, if you don't have tuna or something on them, you can't swallow, you know. It's like graham crackers are good off the spot. You know, she said, that's what people our color call people your color when they don't like them.
Mm.
People your color call people our color. I was like, color? What do you mean color? Like, what color am I? And she said, well, we see you as black. No, she said, you're black. And I said, I'm not black, I'm brown, like the crayons. See, I learned my colors from crayons. So I'm like, you guys are like peach and I'm brown, you know? And I thought that human beings were like animals, other animals. I didn't know what kind of animals we were, but I knew I was a brown one of what we were because I grew up in the Midwest. So in farms and I mean, just mountains, just animals everywhere. And so I'd see a kitten have a litter and it could be a white kitten. It would have a speckled kitten, a black kitten, a gray one, a brown one, you know, or I'd see a horse have a colt. It could be a speckled colt and would have a speckled horse and have a pure black colt. So I thought that was us, you know,
like normal,
and it wasn't. So we moved to the suburbs, all white suburbs, and that's the first time I heard the word nigger because grown white men were chasing me home. I was barely getting in the house. I'd be riding my bike, I'd look back, grown men killed a nigger. So I was barely getting in the house. People were throwing stuff in our windows, shooting in our house. It was crazy. And I went to my mom. I said, who are these niggers? Because we have to stay away from them.
Right.
They're bad people.
So she did not educate you at the
right.
time.
They're bad people. And she said, well, that's what people, our color call people your color where they don't like them. I thought it was all stupid, you know? And so I moved to an integrated neighborhood. White guys came at me, black guys came out, white guys ran, been black ever since, you know? And understanding what that is, was no different than just absolutely being human. It was everyone around me that labeled colors, you know? Right, so all the stuff that I transcended is just what humans transcend. I mean, you know, relationships for the first time, children, jobs, everything else. Everything else is just what everybody else went through. But I thought it was really important that for the book, I would put down all of the things that helped me pass each of those and the people that helped me pass each of those thresholds. Sure. That's why it's sort of a social index. Yeah. As well as a personal index for people who are on their own path.
Totally. I think it's a very educational book, not only about your life as a performer, but about society, social pressures in society that some of us are uncomfortable talking about. You know, I want my white friends to understand is that it's based on a lot of what the prejudice and the injustice that's happening is based on the color of your skin, not necessarily your ethnicity or race. I mean, race in your case, there are different colors. It's okay to talk about it. It's okay to experience it. Now, when you were in Hollywood, now that you know, your friend Howard, he's helping you. We're backtracking a little bit. He says, you know, you're so talented. Did you ever get rejected in certain roles because of the color of your skin?
No, never because of that. But I struggled through opportunities because of that. Like I'd go to all the clubs and get standing ovations. I mean, I was the best.
You were,
And
yeah.
then the club
You
would
are
come.
still the best, but yeah.
Thank you. But the club would come to me and say, "You're not what we're looking for." But I come back and the white comics were working, weren't even. So I was able to surmise it and say, "Oh, okay," because I learned that earlier in my life. Because my sister looked like Cindy Brady and I looked like, me. So people didn't know that. So, when we were late to school, you have to go to detention, So my sister, they sent her to class and make me sign up for detention. So my mother shows up to the school and goes, "Why does my son have to go to detention and my daughter doesn't?" And they were like, "Oh, we didn't know that was your daughter." She's like, "What difference does it make?" You see?
Right.
And then she took me to the park that day. She took me out of school and she took me to the park. She sat me down. I cried. She said, "I need you to know something. Your sister can be late, but you can't if you want to be successful in this society."
Wow.
I was like, that's not fair.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's part of the course. You see? So, and that's what it was about.
Do you think it's important for parents to be telling their kids, whether they're biracial parents, black parents who have white kids who have white parents who have black kids? Is it important for them to explain that to them from an early age?
When they ask.
Well,
because it's going to be at that point in their life to have the question, they see the difference.
Right.
To have that question, they see the difference. See? Until then, you don't want to mess with that. Because our sense of ourselves doesn't have to do with our color. Our sense of ourselves has to do with our sense of others. You see?
Amen. Yeah.
So the minute that comes up, then start to bridge the gap between the two, and notwithstanding love. See, that way they can see it in a technical sense and not in a natural and spiritual sense.
Totally.
You see?
Yeah, totally. It's education. It's all education. In the book, because you also are famous for the show, which is still going on now, still reruns. I love In Living Color. Yes. And you're so natural. Like I mean, I can't pick your brain, but I want to go to the point of like some of the podcasters and comedians now, I don't see them. And this is no shade. It's just, I don't see the talent, the raw talent.
I'm feeling shade.
You're feeling shade. Yeah. I don't see the talent though when you and Jamie Foxx started.
I'm feeling shade.
I mean, is it true? Like, I mean, am I right? Am I like, I feel the talent kind of, the millennial generation isn't expected for some reason to be natural at their talent because of social media and technology.
Why should they? Because they get a immediate gratification.
Right. Whereas how is it different for you?
There's nothing to work for, Well, I mean, if you write the right poem while taking a dump and you get 1 million hits, you might get a movie.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Which was not.
You don't have to be excellent.
Right.
All you have to do is be popular. It's no longer about who's the best. It's about how many people know that person.
Yes, you're articulating everything that we want to say, but we can't say.
Right.
Because we're not in the position. A friend of mine in comedy once said to me, "You can't do this because you didn't do stand-up," which I've done stand-up open mics for over 10 years, but because you haven't been discovered or whatever nonsense. My question to you is, you've done stand-up, you've done sitcom, you've done movies, you've done producing, you've done it all, really, in entertainment. Right. You've done music.
Yep.
What is your secret? You wrote an amazing book. What's the secret to being a well-rounded entertainer? Like, do you agree with that mentality that you have to, like you said, you were natural at stand-up comedy, you got the opportunities. Do you feel you could be successful, doing one or the other? Does it matter?
You could be successful at whatever your decision may be, followed by action. There's 3 question to you. There's 3 birds on a log. One decides to fly away. How many do you have left?
2.
You have 3. It only decided.
Oh, decided.
A decision is always followed by an action. Three birds decide to fly.
Oh, three. Yeah. So yeah, three.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. Action is always followed by that. So as long as you take the actions surrounding your desires, you see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If you take the actions surrounding your desires, then it forges the reality, as in gold is forged, and that process. Without the action of doing that, you won't get the diamond or the coal or whatever. You see? So it's the action itself. But what's important for the creative person, I would say anybody, I guess, is that you don't put a limit on your dreams in a world that puts limits on your dreams. Right. So if someone gave you a glass of water and we're looking at you and put one little dropper of poison in the water and said, have at it, man. You're like, I'm not drinking that. But it's mostly water. You're not going to touch it. That's how your dreams got to be. It's never no, it's not yet. Because how can one person tell me no? That's a drop of water in my whole glass of water. I mean, in my whole glass of water, that's a drop of poison. So it's like, no, I'm not going to drink that. I'm going to drink dreams.
I'm going to drink
you know what
dreams.
I mean? Yeah, because
you got to put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, because and I'm always thirsty, And who's going to, how can you deny that person? Especially when you look at all the water that's around. When you look at Tesla, or you look at, Martin Luther King, or you look at Gandhi, or you look at Martha Stewart, or you look at Snoop Dogg, or you look at Kanye, or you look at Anne Frank. Yeah. If you look at, I mean, the proof is in the pudding.
Totally. No, it's beautifully said. I couldn't say it better myself.
Mm-hmm. That's my truth, at least.
That's your truth. So I want to take you back a little bit from In Living Color to the success of all the movies you've had. Talk to us a little bit about the experience on that first sitcom to how you've grown as a performer and how you transitioned into movies.
Learning. I had to learn how to take my natural sense of comedy and bring it off of a page of words. That's the acting part, and that's the movie. That's the sitcom part and the movie part. As a performer, even in plays, that technique has to be internalized, and you have to be able to take that and then be able to add that color to it. It's like a car. A car is, it's not until the intelligence gets in the car that it can do what it does. You see what I mean? Yeah. It just right then it's just a wheel and all that stuff, and it doesn't come to life without you, and your and your level of being ambidextrous, your ability for judgment. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Your discernment for balance. Your conformity to rules. None of that counts. You see what I mean? And that's and with everything, with every principle, there comes rules. Like, let's say science is a principle, right? It comes with rules, right? There's universal rules. If I drop an apple, it's going to go to the ground every time. Right. They named it gravity, but it was already here. But gravity is not going to stop if you jump off of a building, right? Because it's not fair. Right. You see what I mean? I see, So we have
to engrave that. I want us to all take that in right now, what you're saying. It's not, even though it's not fair.
Yeah.
Even though it's not fair. Because I kept saying that my whole life. It's not fair, Mom. It's not fair, right. Dad. Well, guess what? It's not going to be fair.
Yeah. Who are you to twist the rules of the universe that's been here so long for one selfish desire to jump off a building, to take something that you didn't even start, which is your life.
Totally. I wanted to also talk about your new show that's on Disney, but it's a reboot.
Hold on.
Okay.
While you talk.
Yeah.
Okay, now go ahead and ask me.
Oh yes! Oh my God!
No, you said you got some questions. Hold on a second. Today. Okay, go ahead. Sugar mama.
I want to properly introduce this amazing show, The Proud Family, which was my comfort.
Thank you very much. Proud Snack is my favorite. Hold on. Sugar Mama!
It was an amazing show. It was on Disney from 2001 to 2005, and now the show's rebooting on Disney. It's called The Proud Family, Louder and Prouder. I can't wait for you guys to watch it. This is such an amazing.
Is that louder?
No, this is so good. This is such an amazing character. That's what I'm saying. Like, how do you go from your character in Booty Call to this amazing character in Proud Family, which is an iconic cartoon character? You know,
love of what I do.
The love
of what I do. Yeah, because who doesn't love cartoons? I mean, Daffy, Donald, Bugs Bunny, Woody Woodpecker, Casper, Ed, Ed, and Eddie. The Simpsons. Man, who doesn't? It's a part of me.
Yeah,
it's a part of me. So it's easy. But once again, I had to learn the technique of doing it. How do I take those pages while I'm doing those sessions, and how do I create that sensation of you seeing that animated character, and my voice is that.
You became, right. I literally felt like I was talking to him, not you, at that point. So you're saying that you could take someone who has a natural talent, a natural timing of charisma, comedy, doesn't have the technique yet, but if they have the potential to study and learn, they can become one of the greatest performers. So they don't have to have the technique first, necessarily.
Yeah, it's the basic rudiments. That counts for a surgeon, or an all-pro quarterback, or a therapist, or a ceramics specialist, or it counts for a hairdresser. It counts for everything.
I'm glad you're saying that, because some people don't see it counting. Oh, you're in entertainment. It's easy, it's breezy. But yes, it's because you love it.
Yeah.
It's because you love it.
Yeah. And very few people do it, or very few people can do it on the highest level. So that's where that comes from. Right. But mystique always comes from something that's not popularly known. It's like, we trust the doctor no matter what. I think you got cancer. And you're like, okay, only the concept of a second opinion just is new. That's new, because you just go, okay, he's a doctor, I guess he knows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's not the deal.
No, it's not. There's
many
corrupted doctors too.
Oh yeah. And it's just his world. It's just his world, and you just learn as you go. Someone came to a woman and said, "Hey, I recommend a hysterectomy." She would go, "Hey, I'll talk to you in a minute, because hey, I'm going to check that out, because that's permanent, and that is who I am."
Yeah.
So before I make that decision, I want to be absolutely sure.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That way you can prepare yourself mentally and spiritually for what's next. And it's going to take that.
I love that. Let's talk about also, music. You're into music too. How did you, were you always into it? Was it because of the comedy? Take us through that process.
Music first.
Fans want to know, that about you too.
Music first. I loved music before I could talk. I sang as 4 years old, standing on the coffee table with a spoon with tinfoil around it. When I was 3, singing was my passion. I saw the Jackson 5 when I was 8 years old, and they weren't even the headliners. The headliner was Eddie Kendricks, who had a song called "Keep on Truckin'." Keep on trucking, baby. I keep on trucking, And so I saw this kid in front of me and these kids in front of me, and I was like, I want to do that singing thing. I have to. And I just swallowed everything musically. Sly and the Family Stone, Led Zeppelin, name it. Elton John, Olivia Newton-John, Carpenters, Earth, Wind and Fire, Rush, just bring it.
And you were also able to marry that with comedy. You opened up for some of the musical greats like Patti LaBelle, Kenny G.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's pretty
right?
cool.
That's pretty cool.
And
And I
let me
did
tell
that
you, yeah,
before clubs. I did that
that's what
before I did comedy clubs.
that's what I'm saying.
Uh,
You actually created this path, this unique formula that not everybody can do, but wants to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
I
like
was.
everybody growing up was like, I want to be Tommy Davidson. Why do you want to be Tommy Davidson?
Mhm,
Oh, because Tommy Davidson, he does it all. He does the music, he does the
mhm,
acting, he does the comedy. He's the triple threat. The triple threat.
mhm,
My acting teacher used to tell me that. You know.
mhm,
Tell
and
us
that.
like how did you think of that at such a when how are you so ahead of the time?
Well, the thing wasn't about me thinking about it or anything like that. The thing was I didn't have to think about it.
Mm,
It was already there. So since I had the ability to be able to do what I heard, that's what helped me. I didn't know that they were even called impressions.
really? Wow.
But I was in an interview and somebody said, "You're great at impressions." I was like, "What's that?" When you do Sammy Davis Jr. or Stallone, but I've been doing that of my teachers and my friends and singers and everything. So it comes natural, like Rocky. Why you looking around my house, Mick? I make my house stink. No, I'm not saying your house stinks. I just wanted to talk to you about a chance at the title. No, you look around my house like it stinks, Mick. Hey, stinks, Mick. I never asked you for no favors. Ask me to fight the fight. I'll fight the fight. You want to be there? You don't think I know what's going on here, Mick? You used to come down to the gym and couldn't even get a locker. Couldn't even get a locker, Mick. Now you want me to fight the big fight. I'll fight the fight. Get my face kicked in. You want to be there? I'll Mick. We'll see you in the face kicked in. So it's like.
That's so good. So good. But that's talent. That's not easy for everyone to do.
Yeah, and I ain't going to try to be a surgeon. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to try to be a cop.
Yeah.
They're very difficult.
Right.
If you don't have that desire, and desire can even override a natural talent if it's there, because you can gravitate towards the technique of it,
right?
And sheer mastery of technique can still push you to a level in your life where what you do can flourish.
I love that. What do you say to the people that want to get into that comedy character impressions, but they are embarrassed, they're scared, they're shy? What are your tips for that?
Same thing that people say to me when I'm putting my toe in the pool and everybody's in the pool, and they're like, "Man, what's wrong with you, man? Get in, dude. Once you're in, it's just great." And I'm like, "I don't know," and I'm going in halfway, and once you get in there, it's great. You know what I mean? So just don't ease yourself in, just get on in there, and so you can feel the temperature yourself. Sometimes you'll jump out and go, "It's too cold."
And that's okay.
You know what I mean? But there's only one way to find out. You see what I mean?
In that pool.
Right. Get on in here.
Maybe you'll get a chance to jump in that pool with Tommy Davidson. Maybe you won't. But you
maybe
jump
you
in that
won't,
pool.
but you jump in it.
But you
and
jump in it.
I've seen plenty of people do it.
Right.
Jamie Foxx. I was in the pool. I was in the pool before these people. Right. Jamie Foxx. Cedric the Entertainer. Who else? Dale. What's Dale's last name? Daggone it. Comedian. He was hot.
I remember.
He was hot. White boy. He was hot on.
Yeah, he's in the movies with Jessica Simpson. He's the hilarious.
Yeah, and he also did a movie with Kevin Costner.
I know he's talking about. I don't know.
Yeah. Before the pool.
The Wayne brothers also before the.
Yeah.
Collaborating.
Well, the younger ones. Then there's the people that are in the pool before me.
Right.
Like Jim Carrey, David and I grew at the same time we jumped in the pool. But Eddie Murphy, Roseanne Barr, Tom Hanks, Michael Keaton, Whoopi Goldberg, Rosie O'Donnell. That list who was in the pool before I got in it is long and strong.
Right.
Long and strong. And they're the ones that told me, hey, keep swimming, keep stroking. You're a great swimmer. You'll get even better. And the water's fine.
Who was one of your comedy inspirations growing up?
Richard Pryor.
Richard Pryor.
Yeah, just like, what you gonna say?
Right.
He encompassed everything I wanted to be.
Yeah.
You know, and he gave me the what's that when you get knighted? You know, when they put the sword on each shoulder. I got knighted by him.
You're anointed. Yeah.
Yeah. Knighted. You're knighted. You know what I
You're
mean?
knighted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not too hard, buddy.
He gave you the comedy king. Like,
Yeah.
He gave you the approval.
Yeah.
Like, my brother, you are good.
Man,
You
because
are
when
good.
I first performed with him in the main room at the Comedy Store for a whole weekend, him and Eddie Murphy, and I killed. Just us three on the show, and I was in the middle of them, and we all had 25 minutes. You know, we did four shows where he was first, and Eddie was last, and Eddie was first, and he was last, and I'm right in the middle, and killed. And he found me. There's a little dressing room in the Comedy Store. It's not really a dressing room. It's kind of like a closet. And the big green room is where all the big boys go. There's fruit in there and food and chicks, and it's hot. But I'm in this little closet, and he makes his way over there. I don't know him. He looked me up and down. He shook his head. He said, "Man, you's a funny mother," and walked away. And I called my mom. I was like, "Where'd you buy?" She said, "I know. I told you to stay. Don't leave." You know, because I was wanting to leave.
Yeah.
I was wanting to leave Hollywood. It was tough.
Yeah, because I heard, when I was in the comedy scene, like the clubs, it's always about networking, staying after, hanging out with the comics, right? I mean, are you big on that? Were you big on that? Hanging around. Like, do you believe in that you have to open up for big comics? Like, you were lucky to open up for Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
But you do believe in that.
But I don't hang. I never hung out at the comedy venues. First of all, one of the reasons why was because I tried to hit as many clubs in one night as I could.
Right.
So I hit 4 clubs a night.
Yeah, you couldn't be like, let's go have a drink and hang out.
Yeah.
Let's down that Corona, Karen.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And have you ever seen an Olympic swimmer swimming and stop and see where everybody else is?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, you're like, let me just, have my own time. Bing, what did I have? What's my time? You see? So it wasn't about me not liking anyone. It was just, it's an Olympic swim. And you're not going to stop and go, how far is everybody? Where are you going to get the time? You know what I mean?
That's important. I'm happy you're saying that as an artist, that don't keep on looking at other people's
hard
pockets, sides, comparing yourself.
Hard.
Right? I struggle with it every day. Mental health. I mean,
it's hard. It's hard.
How did you keep
show up to a club? be a woman and with your girls, and show up to a club in Vegas with other girls, and you know how hard that is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I think let's get out of here. Let's go to another club. You know what I mean? It's like, if you're honest with yourself, you know how it is.
Totally, I totally know how.
That's the deal.
That's the real deal.
Yeah.
What was your favorite character or impression playing over the years, and from the movies to the impressions to even specials you've done? What was your favorite character?
Probably Dragon. Sweet Tooth Jones was a karate character that I did on In Living Color.
Love that character.
That was like my first. That's like one of my.
I've never laughed so hard in my life.
But I played other characers. I love to play the straight character.
What was that your? Sorry to interrupt, but why was that your favorite?
Well, because it was so natural with how he talked. You know what I'm saying? Right on. Everything he did just flowed off the top of his tongue. You know what I mean? And he'd take 7 songs and he'd use them as quotes. You know what I'm saying? Like fire, like a horror player. You know what I'm saying? I'm spinning around. You know what I mean? Like Blue Magic. You dig it? What's going on? Hey, Marvin Gaye. So it's just his cadence is so true to what I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's so also fascinating about you? In social media now, in the virtual COVID time, quarantine, a lot of comedians tell me, we don't want to do stand-up on the virtual, like on Zoom and stuff, because it's not as good as when you do it live for people. But you seem to have a good grasp of making people laugh with your jokes, whether you're virtually doing it or live doing it. Would you prefer anything? Do you agree with that mentality? I mean, do you care to be doing stand-up virtually, or do you feel like
I don't.
You don't.
But I'm a businessman, and I am not really a competitor, but I'm a survivor. So, like in war, the most important component is intelligence. So if you don't have the right intelligence, you're going to lose, So it's like, and I'm not saying that it's a win or lose in the business. I'm not saying that. But to not be able to, a win in this business is to be self-fulfilled to me. Mm-hmm. To me, there's a lot of other stuff that stand in the way of that are very desirable to have and all that stuff. And the worst part about having a lot of money is you got to have a lot of money to realize that it ain't shit. You know what I mean? There's a long road to it, But, I guess it's like a bamboo reed. It grows downward for 4 years, and then it shoots up to 12 to 20 feet within a couple of months. And that way, when the wind blows, it doesn't break it. You know what I mean? And so that's the way I was fortunate enough to build my career. You see what I mean? So it helps me with that elasticity to be able to go with the flow of the changes. So I look at the internet and I go, and since I work so hard on comedy and timing and how much I could do 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, I could do an hour, 20 minutes on the nose. It's because of those kind of things and my observation that I can look at it and go, okay, what prescription do I write for this? For instance, or for example, I did the Byron Allen special. It was all these comics and this, that. And I do know for a fact that my stand-up doesn't work as good as when you have a live audience. Mm-hmm. Because it's too dynamic. It's you got to see it to believe it.
And animated, yeah. You're
right.
You're always animated.
Right. You got to see it to believe it. So there's limits in a frame. There's limits, So I assessed the situation and said, I'm going to do a sketch because I'm a sketch artist too. Mm-hmm. And I think I'd be most effective in this situation. I think I'd be most effective as a sketch, doing a sketch here. It's just as simple as a girl saying, I want to wear that blue dress to that club. Mm. You know that dress. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah.
You know I'm getting in that dress.
Yeah. So it's like the same thing. It's like the same thing, Some places
you know where to strive.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta leave that one at home. Mm. You know what I mean? Yeah. You don't you're going to the kindergarten play, No. You know what I mean?
We're gonna leave sparkles at home.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Speaking of kindergarten and kids, I mean, you've been married for a while. In this business, it's very hard, or I found it hard to have relationships in entertainment because you're always going.
Who said I was happy? I'm kidding. Go ahead. Oh, no.
At least you and her have a good relationship that she would not get mad. She's like, oh, Tommy, what you told that host after it?
Right, exactly.
But she seems like you guys are equal. Like, how do you get to that point of being like just loving each other and just respecting one mm-hmm. another? How important is that in this business, and how do you find that?
It's just important in this life.
Yeah.
And I guess to get longevity out of anything, it's a give and take balance. And that's what it really is. But it's a day at a time, too.
Yeah.
Accepting somebody else's differences in your own space is a lot of work. When you're in your own space, it doesn't make a difference.
Right.
You see what I mean? So your ability to be able to compromise becomes really, really important in that. And that comes with time. You have to learn that. You have to learn from being lonely or saying, I want that, and then you don't have it no more. Or you're sitting at home going, I can't believe she doesn't like me. Like, I'm such a great guy or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you got to start to, be honest about all that stuff. So you go, how great am I? Let me really look at it. You know what I mean? So that the next time I don't have to feel that. Usually pain will do that.
Oh yeah.
Will make you go, you know what? Next time I think I need to do this. Mm-hmm.
And pain makes you create, I'm sure, as well.
Yeah, it makes you, yeah. You know, go ahead, go ahead. I like that question.
No,
Go.
yeah, no, I was gonna say, like, would you say most of your art was created or stemmed from pain that you went through in your life, and what kind of pain? I know that's a heavy question, but if you can touch up on
Yeah,
that.
I think that kind of plays into the stereotype of the stand-up comic has to be is somehow in pain to do
Mm-hmm.
comedy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think to do anything in life, at any profession or anything that you're doing, you know, pain's notwithstanding. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it plays a part. But it's not the whole shebang. It's not the reason why.
Right. It's not like,
You know, yeah.
oh, I'm in so much pain, I have to
Right,
do stand up.
right. Exactly. You know what I mean?
Like, you want it.
Yeah, I can find a person that has the same personal painful experiences I do that doesn't do comedy.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you're so lucky to have the little life fairy come along and make you happy regardless, then you're doing pretty good. You know?
Totally.
Yeah, totally.
Totally.
But yeah. But the ability to be personally, the ability to be able to heal people through laughter heals me.
Yeah.
It's my pain relief.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
I feel the same.
I love love and I love laughs. So they become my best friends, regardless of what kind of pain I'm in. You know,
Totally.
you know, unfortunately, I performed when my brother died that night at the club, and I
Wow.
performed when my mother died that night at the club, and it was hard. It was really, really hard, but the shows were unbelievable, and that was because I knew that they would want me up there.
That must have been so hard. And then,
That was really hard. It was really, really hard.
were you able to grieve late through that, at least knowing that you, at least you're making people laugh?
Yeah,
And
but it was what I was taught.
right.
You know, that life is going to hand you certain situations that are unbelievably painful, but it's still to be lived.
There's
You
still to
know?
be lived. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you say? What do you say to the people coming up, like the comedians? There's always this like stereotype, like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you had your time. Or do you
Mm-hmm.
ever feel like,
Mm-hmm.
do you ever feel jealous? Do you ever feel competitive? Or do you know, are you so secure in your talent that it doesn't ever bother you? Like you said, you change with the times. You
Yeah,
understand
if,
the
of
times.
course. Yeah, it bothers me. It bothers me. So sometimes it does. Sometimes it does bother me. But that, you know, I think it's natural.
Mm-hmm.
It's natural to want something someone else has,
Yeah.
even if it's a moment that they have.
Yeah.
You can compare their one moment to years and still want that. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I'm just fortunate that the case isn't, I don't want someone else to have something.
Right.
That's different.
Right. That's different.
That's
It is.
totally different. That's totally different. Me not wanting you to have something is a whole nother thing. It's the reason why this blue thing that we live on is so imbalanced. Because the people that have don't want the people that don't to have nothing.
That's what I want to touch on that, if you don't mind. Privilege. So we're talking about, I'm
Mm-hmm.
assuming, privilege. That falls under the privilege category. What do you think we need as a country in 2020, and where you see it going, for us to change what is called white privilege, entitlement? Because I think that's why it's dangerous to why we have injustice is because of that. Would you say that? You want to touch upon that a little bit?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It's easy to me.
I know it's uncomfortable. It's sometimes
yeah,
hard to
no, it's not
articulate.
uncomfortable for me. That's why it's
Right.
easy. You know, we're doing it now.
Mm-hmm.
You got to continue to do just what we're doing now. Protests, you know, taking action on behalf of those who haven't been able to defend themselves or haven't been able to flourish in this society. You know? And it's up to the people that are willing to do that, and the others don't matter. And I look at that from the historical standpoint of our country, you see? So it was built on greed and murder. Okay, it was built on that. So
And slavery.
it's yeah. Well, that's I'm putting it all in
All
because
together.
I can include it. Yeah, there's no one here that hasn't been touched by it. The Irish came here with a potato in their behind. You know what I mean? Um, um, Jews had a really hard time with sauerkraut. Okay, all right, a very hard time. You know what I mean? Italians, got kicked in the mouth. And your olive oil too. You know, everyone here has gone the whole journey to realize that the journey that we're still on it.
Right, we're still on it.
That we're still on it.
And we can't
we're still
ignore
on it, and we can't ignore it. So when the lion and the Tin Man and the scarecrow and the little chick, and the dog, when they had this long road to go, they acknowledged everything that was happening. Some of it wasn't good at all, but they just continue singing because they know that joy is what bounds them and gets them down that road. We can do that. We're good.
Coming from love, right? Not coming from anger.
Right. And, there's a certain group of people that elicited that response in us on their quest to establish themselves politically.
Right.
And they used that. They used racism to establish their place in government. Mm-hmm. The second that damn monster woke up, he choked the doctor, Frankenstein. He wasn't the monster.
Right.
That damn doctor put that brain in there anyway, after he knew it was cut. So when the thing comes alive, it chokes him. But the thing itself was a very beautiful creature, even though it had a cut. It loved flowers and children, and it was just an innocent thing. It hadn't done anything to anyone. It was the villagers that hated and wanted to kill him because he looked different than them. That was it.
That's what we need to know, and we need to understand that. What do you think needs to change? What do you think? Yes, the protest, but what would you say that you would like to see, even in entertainment, change? How can we help? How can we help the movement to continue the conversation? Black Lives Matter, because a lot of people are saying all lives matter. What do you say about that? Because that bothers me a lot when people say all lives matter. We know all lives matter, but what we're saying now is Black Lives Matter right now. The injustice that's happening is right. It was happening forever, but we can't ignore it anymore where it's happening now in front of our face.
Right.
Now we have technology to see, oh, you know what? When my Black friend told me that was happening, now I believe it. It's happening. It's happening in front of my face.
The more white people that join that movement, the better off the movement. Because it is a black and white thing. Right. It's a black and white thing as far as value systems go. See? There's been a cultural value system among the Europeans in this country where historically we're not as important. So the more white people that acknowledge that and take action towards that, then the more it will begin to heal itself. Yeah, I was driving the other day and there was three little girls and a boy on their bike. And I had turned in the little cul-de-sac, and the one little white boy ran into his house and came out, and he held the sign up, Black Lives Matter, to me. And I was like, I waved at him. That's how we do it. That's how we do it. That's how we do it.
That's how
he does it. He's not looking in his cell phone for an opinion to put that up.
Right.
He didn't need their opinion in there.
Right.
He wasn't on his phone and then going, okay, now I'll do it. He did it.
Or should I write it? Or should I have my PR team talk about it?
He did it. Right. He did it because he believes it.
Exactly. That's what I want people to know. If you believe it, you need to do it. Mm-hmm. You cannot stay silent. Because silent's not going to help. Silent. You think it's going to help your image. I had for me, everyone's like, there was 50-50. I said, no, I believe in something. I'm going to do it. That's just the bottom line. I'm just going to do it, because it's what's right.
Yeah, I mean, everybody who is here,
Mhm.
okay, did that at some point. The Irish were here and poor and with the low rungs on the totem pole, but when they were asked to fight in the Civil War, they did it. Blacks were like the lowest thing here and treated and abused and in all kind of ways. But when they were asked to go to World War One, two, three, Afghanistan, Iraq, name it, Korea, San Juan Hill, War of 1812, Revolutionary War, you know, we did it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's your involvement. It's your involvement and it's your commitment to actual physical equality. And if you're not doing it, we'll notice because you'll be the one that's not doing it. Kennedy made an announcement. This is the reason why I'm here. Kennedy made an announcement to white America. If you look back on this time in history, will you be able to say that you did something about the race problem as an American? And my mother and my father heard that and went to Mississippi and started working with the civil rights movement. And that's how she found me. That's the reason why I know that that works.
Wow.
Not secondhand, not a blog, not, you know what I mean? Me!
Firsthand.
Living it.
Firsthand, yeah. That's
living it.
Living it. And what's so interesting is even you said your background, you were raised amongst a white family.
Mm-hmm.
And still living it and understanding
Mm-hmm.
the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any sites or organizations that you'd like to suggest to our audience to check out, nonprofit that has to do with Black Lives Matter or?
Yeah, exactly. And I think you should write it down.
Okay.
It's called the OK program.
I'm typing it on my phone right now. Ladies and gentlemen, when you're listening to this, I want you guys all to type this. We're also going to put a link in a bio.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on, Tommy.
The OK program, where Black men, police officers, mentor Black boys in our inner city troubled places. And they're paid full-time to do so. They're with the kids 7 days a week. They have a clipboard and a group of kids of 10. They work with the teachers, they work with the parents, and they work with the child in an organized way. It works. It's been around for 20-something years. It's getting gang members and Bloods and Crips and off the street and turning into lawyers and teachers and counselors and pro football players. And it's been unfunded, totally unfunded for its existence. The one person, Donald Northcross, has been funding this thing and I mean, just like doing it himself. But the results are there. And he's attacking the mortality rate of Black males, the incarceration rate. He's taking it on himself. Now, Blacks, we're not the only ones in this country that had problems with delinquency and crime and gangs. The Irish, remember the movie Gangs of New York? The Jewish, remember Once Upon a Time in America?
Yeah.
The Italians, remember The Godfather? Remember the Bowery Boys or any of these remember Bonnie and Clyde? So all of them had the same problems that the Black community have now. But the difference between the two groups is that government agencies got involved to get those kids out of the street. 4-H Club, YMCA, Boys and Girls Club of America, count them. There's no program, no national program to address that problem, but the OK program is addressing it. And it's the only program that's doing that, going to the specific problem. Now, you can't stop the drugs from coming into the city. You can't stop the private enterprise of jails. You can't stop, the sale of guns in the inner city. But you can stop the young men in those cities from being a victim of it.
Yes. And you can educate and train.
Yeah. And then there's a documentary and a book called, hold on, I'll look it up myself because I'm a little nervous.
No, take your time.
Because I get nervous when I talk about this kind of stuff. White fragility.
Oh, I
by
heard
by
also
Robin
that.
by Robin DiAngelo. The book is for white people,
Mm-hmm.
but it's for black people as well. But that book, she talks about all the inherent cultural and subconscious behaviors in racism and privilege. And she goes into extreme detail, and her whole career has been focused on the healing, the race healing here. And it's from a white standpoint.
Wow.
And so if you take both of those, you know,
Yeah.
and because the worst thing for a group of people to make a change is to suffer from two things: confusion and despair. If you're confused, you may do anything. And if you're desperate, you may. So I'll sum that one out. When emotions is high, common sense is at an all-time low.
Amen to that. That's amazing, though. That I love that you're speaking up on this, because a lot of celebrities, a lot of people have been saying, a lot of celebrities, whether they're black, whether they're white, they're not speaking on the matter as much as they
Right.
should be. How do you
Right.
feel about that?
It's just the way. It's just the way of the world.
Right.
It's just the way of the world. I mean, not everybody is going to, not everybody went to World War II, but it was a defining moment in all of our lives.
Right.
I mean, ain't no time to be turning around going, well, you ain't going, you ain't going, you ain't going, you ain't going, you ain't go. It matters who was there.
Right.
And did it. And we're grateful to them. You see what I mean? There's no separation. Yeah, we'd be speaking German and Japanese right now. You know what I mean?
But I also think it comes down to what you're saying. Like, also, when you're a real performer and you're a real one, you're going to care less about your image and do what is right.
Right.
And you're going to be more confident and gutsy to do
right.
what is right and get away with it.
Yeah. So it's about specifics. If in fact there, not in fact, there is a problem. There's racism on the one hand, and there's the travesty of what's happening to young black men in our cities.
Yeah.
If you have a specific solution, then let's go with this specific solution, like COVID. Right. Stay in the house. You go for a specific solution because it threatens the whole world. Well, so does racism. So you go for the specific solutions. We've seen the devastating effects of it. Palestine and Israel, the Arab wars, the
Armenian genocide,
the Armenian genocide, the French-Spanish War, the Spanish-German War. I mean, how long is it going to take?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if it's specific that you can hang your hat on, the NFL, okay, the NFL made an announcement that, hey, we are down with you or whatever. So write a check to the OK program. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Black Lives Matter isn't the only one that needs the funding.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Specific causes within
the specific cause of funding. The specific cause that's happening in these inner cities. The OK program is specific to it. You see what I mean?
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's important. That's why we're gonna keep that link. We're gonna put that link in the bio, Tommy, for everybody to click.
Yeah.
And they can get involved. I love that you're speaking up on this. 2 more questions before we wrap up, because I know you guys. You're a busy man, but don't worry, you're gonna be stuck with me, because guess what I'm doing with you? I'm hosting Fan Room Live. You know Fan Room Live?
No.
Oh, our boy Jeff Krause is talking to Amanda about this.
Oh yeah.
That
was half a burp. Yeah.
So I'm gonna be.
I got an old potato chip out of it. Okay, so go ahead.
You're gonna get sick of me, so don't worry. We're gonna have
wow,
more time. And I want you back on the podcast, because I can talk to you forever. Literally, you are a legend. What is a character that you'd like to play? Whether it's comedy, a serious character, where do you see yourself heading?
Sammy Davis Jr.
Ooh, I like that.
That's the most challenging role for me, where I can show all my stuff, because he was the most talented human on the face of the earth. So that is important to me, Jamie was fortunate enough to do Ray, and it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
The other actor whose name I forget, I hope he doesn't get mad, did James Brown. You know, like, yeah,
You want to
like,
do one of those, encompass, right, all of it. And you can. Oh my God, you're
that's
perfect.
like challenging. That's like giving a basketball to Jordan and saying, "What can you do with that?"
Right.
You know what I mean? And
but
he's
I can't
really?
wait to see you in
Oh
that
man,
role.
I
Oh
just
my God.
yeah, it's been something that I've been working on personally for 25 years. You know,
it doesn't just happen overnight. It doesn't mean
right.
it's gonna.
Right. But I'm doing, you do your part,
Mm-hmm.
and then you leave the results up to the universe. Like, we learned how to plant seeds, and learn how to use soil.
Mm-hmm.
But once we did the soil, we put the seeds right, we put the water in, the rest isn't up to us.
Right.
Whatever that force is that grows that doggone thing out of there is a strong force, because you could be on the side, you could be walking down the sidewalk and see a little crack and a little piece of grass growing up through it. That's something that's stronger than everything.
That is
and
strong.
something
That's
that's been here before. Yeah.
It's just it's simple, but it's deep. It's like right in front of you, but it's a deep metaphor.
Yeah. You drop water on iron long enough, it'll melt it. It's called rust. It will melt it.
And it will melt it to the
It will melt it, man.
I'm telling you, it will melt it.
It will melt it. Yeah, man. It will melt it. You know?
That's true. You just got.
It just does it. It just does it in a different time frame.
I can't wait to see you though. We're rooting for you. Can you tell us any other parts, movies that are coming out? And give us a little glimpse, a little bit about what Proud Family, the reboot, is about.
It's the Proud Family. Just we're back.
We're just back.
We're back. We're on Disney Plus. We're being broadcast around the world, and it's the bomb. There's also another show that me and Martin are working on. And I'm executive producing with him. Called you remember Varnell Hill?
Of course.
Late night talk show on BET, the Varnell Hill Show.
Yes.
And that's everybody's going to be on there from Kanye to the OJs.
We need that.
Yeah, man. Everybody from like, it's on. It's on.
You know what? Also, off the record, I want to pitch to you something I think that you'd be great at
Bring it.
Two things: a comedy movie, but also it's a competition show for you to be a host on. A competition for comedians.
I'd love to do that.
Let's talk, because I'd
love to do that.
I think that'd be amazing. I mean, I'm just so excited for your.
If you give me your email,
I will.
I'll show you the show.
Yes.
I'll show you.
And also think of me for some little white girl parts. No, not even.
No, listen.
I'm not even that white. But...
listen. Any stand-up that sees this is going to go, "Oh my God, when does that start?"
Yeah, I know.
All right, I'm going to send it to you. Okay. Give me your email and I'll send it to you. Email me back and tell me I'm wrong.
Okay, I will.
Okay?
I'll tell you right. Right.
Any comedian would die to be on the show, because it's based on building your act.
Oh my God! Please think of
It's
please
based
send it
on
to me, and
building
I would
your act.
I will love that.
So give me your email, give it to Amanda, and I'll send that to you. And I want to hear your reaction, because it's unbelievable. And I'm a creator, and I've been doing this a long time. Yeah. I know unbelievable from pimple poppers.
Oh yeah. Can I just tell you one thing? Without blowing smoke up your ass, with blowing smoke, you can never do anything wrong in my book, because you were just you're a legend to me. You're the first reason. Can I tell you, when my parents left me home alone and I didn't understand abandonment issues, I watched your comedy stand up. I was like a kid. I was 7. I wasn't even supposed to be watching. And I was like, this man is my hero, and I will forever be a good human being and a good performer, or I hope to be the performer you are one day. I think that's why everything about my art is real, because of you, because I want to be like you. So I never want to disappoint my heroes. I never want to be like a fake version of what people expect. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for that.
My mom would like hearing that.
I would tell her that any day. Yeah.
Yeah, my mom would
cry. Yeah. You're a very special person.
Thank you. And you too.
Thank you.
And you too.
You see, you making.
I mean, look at your mix.
I mean, yeah.
Look at your mix. Voted most unlikely to succeed.
Yeah.
Look at that combination.
Yeah,
Like
thank you. Thank you for understanding that.
you
Yeah.
prove everyone wrong.
Yeah, and I'm a woman, so you know how hard, yeah, that combination.
Yeah.
That's hard.
And you add that to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your life is proving it.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah, man.
Thank you. Yeah, man. Yeah. You see,
Yeah, like our Jamaican.
You can make me cry and then you can make me laugh.
Yeah, yeah, man. Who's not gonna smile when they hear that? Yeah, man. One little island, one little tiny island on this earth can make you smile right away.
Yeah, you should be so proud of yourself that you can that's what I want to do. I guess what I'm inspired by you is getting those reactions and emotions out of people. Kind of, connecting to them on the real.
Hey, we got a limited ride here.
Yeah. Well,
we got a limited ride.
We got a limited ride.
We got a limited ride. And what you gonna do with your ticket? Michael Jackson, man, he used his ticket so good. Prince used his ticket so good. My math teacher used hers really good. She I'm no better than math than I was before. You know what I mean? But she made me believe. She made me believe that math works. And if you do it right, it works. You see what I'm saying?
Totally.
So, I got taught by so many different people. So I realized I don't have to be that great in math. I just have to get somebody that I trusted knows how to do it.
Yeah. Hey, there you go. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. One last question. So Chanel in the City, what's your favorite place in whatever city, town you're from, or New York City that when you come, that has inspired you or gotten you through really hard times? A restaurant, a park, a club?
Probably the main room in the Comedy Store. The main room in the Comedy Store is where it all happened for me. And it was
so cool.
Because
I gotta go visit that store.
I couldn't get in the main room for 3 years. I was picking my name out of a hat for 3 years.
Wait, why?
I was in the belly room, and it's just, eventually the owner, Mitzi, she finally, once I got in the main room and got in living color and started rolling and stuff, she had a conversation with me. She said, I know you thought that I was a bitch. Making you wait 3 years to get in the main room. But she said, I always make the best wait.
Wow, that's good. Well, at least she was honest. Most people, they want to see you sweat. They want to see you kind of go through that rejection to appreciate.
Can you do it? Can you do it? Can you do it?
I had a friend once tell me, she goes, Chanel, it's not that I don't believe in you. It's that I know you have potential and I want you to be the funniest you can be. Can you be the funniest you can be? So like you said, you could be popular, because I had a reality show one-time thing on Bravo, and everyone said, you could be popular and people can laugh just because you're popular, but that doesn't mean you're funny. When
it comes down to it, you're going to have to put it to it. Yeah, because you're going to have to put it to a test. If you're on stage for a whole hour, that's not like a 3-round fight. That's 15 rounds.
Right.
You really want to know you want to really know what you're made of? Go 15 rounds. That's why the biggest champs are the ones that can go 15 rounds. Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, all the greats can go 15 rounds, man. And that's what you want. I tell comics all the time when they ask me to come to the club and come backstage, and what do you think I should do? I said, I think you should be on stage 7 days a week. I think you should do all the clubs that you can in one night, because it's like riding a bicycle. The more you do it, the better you get at it. And then they go, well, besides that, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Right. You're like, no, there's no besides that. That's
right.
There's just that.
Right. Well,
so
besides
that's why I mix. I mean, open mics, shows. Now, would you say as a comedian, would you agree that shows are better because you get a better reaction from the audience because they're not biased at that point, whereas open mics are really more for other comedians to showcase their work in front of other comedians?
Open mics are the most brilliant thing that could ever happen. The most brilliant thing that could ever happen for a comic, because you get to see how the dynamics of this thing works, from the personalities that are there to what you have to do with no name, no credits, and that's why when a comic, I'm a genuine, real stand-up comic.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm So when you first start, your intro matters.
Yeah.
Because you gotta, by the time people see you, you need a little bit of help. You know what I mean? 'Cause, why should I laugh at you?
Right.
So if you go, he's been in colleges and clubs around the country, he's opening for such and such, you need them to be expecting you're funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like,
And then if you're not funny, it's like, oh shit.
Right. But you at least you get a couple of seconds to breathe, because it ain't no joke up there.
So Tommy, before I let you go, I want to just talk about a little bit about the hip hop culture and in terms of what's going on today with systematic racism and racism in general, using the N-word in songs, in hip hop. Obviously, some of my white friends, I try to tell them, even though we love the music, it's tough to say the words just because the rappers are saying it. What's your opinion on it? How do we change the narrative? How do we make it better?
You don't got to change the narrative of hip hop. The beautiful thing about hip hop is that white people that understand and know hip hop and grew up with hip hop know for a fact that it's the POV of the rapper that matters. So if a rapper is coming from that standpoint and using the N-word in his stuff, it's coming from his POV. It's
his experience.
So from his experience, and white people who understand hip hop and are hip like that, they know that you let them go ahead and say that, but you can't, because our histories are different.
Right.
You see
as long as we understand that, then that's okay. You can bop your head to it as long as you understand the difference. Why you can't say it, but he can, because he came from that.
Right. Exactly. And you understand exactly where he's coming from with that, because you identify with him.
Yes.
You're like, I didn't come from that generation that used that word like that. But they all but the one thing that whites that are in hip hop understand is that they understand, I'm going to be specific. They understand that the use of it in that way is a reassimilation of the word's original connotation. It's like women, right? You see women hanging out and they always like, oh, bitch, please, just give me my damn lipstick and stop playing, or whatever. Oh, bitch, you know damn well you want to get drunk, or whatever. If a guy said, hey, bitch, it would be like, what? It's among them.
Right.
Among them, it's accepted. But if from outside of their sphere of comfortability,
it makes sense. It makes total sense.
Yeah, because, well, it's a direct connect. The connect I'm using is the isms, okay? Isms aren't wasms. They're things that came long before us and are going to be here long afterwards. So if it's racism, if you're not racist, then you don't take part in the ism, right? You just don't take part in it. You see what I'm saying? So when I don't call a girl a bitch, that is respecting sexism. Yeah. Because they've been called that so long, and it is a very negative term for them. It's from an ism. You see? So if they choose to do that among themselves.
Right. If I choose to sing or rap about that in a song, it's among my own experience.
And
but that doesn't give me the right.
If wants to use that language with her friends, both of them are aware of the reclaiming of their self-esteem that comes with that.
Makes sense.
That's it.
That's education. See, it's educate. You got to educate yourself in order to understand. You can't just go blindly without understanding, or else you're always going to get it wrong. You're always going to be confused, and you're always going to say the wrong thing.
So right. And what I encourage Black comics to do, if they want to have a larger audience, is to not use it, because it alienates white listeners and white audience members. Not because any other reason, then they don't like the word. They don't like what it represents. They don't like how it feels, Yeah. That's not the case in hip hop, and okay, cool. And it's not even the case in comedy. That's where I'm coming from. See, because I'm a technician of that school of skill. You see? So I see it. from an observational standpoint, in their eyes, I see it in their reaction to it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I've been able to broaden my audience. By not saying, it's not like I don't say it all. It's that you'll very rarely hear me say it. But you'll very rarely hear me say faggot or spick or chink.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it just gives you a broader, if you don't alienate anyone, the more people that you alienate and offend, the smaller your audience gets.
100%.
Yeah.
I think when some of the white people like I've grown up with, you know, we listen to hip hop. Again, sometimes I don't see myself as white, I guess, because of my different race and ethnicity. But when I grew up with it, I think because I love the rapper so much and I know his pain.
And what he's talking about.
And what he's talking about, that I want to want to emulate him. You know, I feel cool almost. Yeah. Like I'm him. But I get where the difference is. It doesn't mean that you should be using that word, or you shouldn't feel entitled to use his pain. He's letting you listen to his art and his pain. That doesn't mean he's letting you utilize that terminology freely to people.
Exactly.
And just saying it everywhere you go and whoever you want to say it to.
Hey, you know, the word has power. It has power both negatively and positively. It's the user.
Yeah, you're such a genius. You really are. You're so smart. I could talk to you. No, really, I could talk to you for hours. That's why I'm so happy you wrote a book, because now I can read the book. Because you know my ass ain't going out of this house. I don't care what's opening. I'm so paranoid. I know. I'm such an erotic Jew. I'm not going out for 4 or 5 months.
Yeah. And that's hard for a Colombian too.
Okay. You know? And you know it's hard for my Colombian ass too. To not go out and eat panadas, to not go out and dance, to not go out and get in trouble.
Yeah. You talk about a culture that doesn't see black and white, because the whole country is like black, white, brown, orange, whatever. Exactly. You know, Colombiana, man. Colombiana, you know?
Exactly. Imagine.
Tú eres colombiana, sí. Okay.
Sí. So my mom, she's like a Colombian girl from Queens. She's like, let me tell you something. You're never going to be successful if you prostitute yourself all over. I said, prostitute? Mom, what are you talking about? She goes, your comedy. You got to be a doctor, a lawyer. She's like,
right. Until you buy that house.
Until you buy that house for her. And, you know, she's going to be cooking, being like, oh, I always believed in you. You know, I always did. That's right, Mom. I'm going to be opening up for Tommy Davidson one day.
Exactly.
One day.
Exactly.
Or maybe I'll babysit his kids. But anyway, it's the same shit. By the way, do you have kids?
I do. I have 6.
You have 6?
Yeah.
God bless you. You look like you're 6. You got 6.
Oh, yeah? Look at this gray.
How do you keep so young looking, by the way?
I laugh all the time.
Oh, you look so good. God bless you. And your wife is so beautiful. She is so beautiful. God bless her. 6 kids. So if you need a babysitter or a friend.
Come on. Let's do. We got stuff to do.
When we got we got stuff to collaborate. So Tommy, first of all, thank you so much for doing this. What an honor again. Where can everybody follow you on social media, and where can everybody see
The Real Tommy Cat Instagram. Of course, my Facebook under my name. You know, I forgot the Twitter.
It's okay. I'm sure people will know.
Yeah, they're all hooked together. And my next date is in. I'm gonna pump that up.
Yes, please pump that. You guys can see Tommy on the road. He's
believe it or not, you can now.
Now you can.
It's Pubs and Pianos.
Nice. Pubs and Pianos. And
this Friday and Saturday.
This Friday and Saturday in Pittsburgh, they can check you out. And where can they buy the tickets? They just have
in Danville. In Danville. It's in Danville, California, right? Danville, California.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. 510-967-1724.
You heard it here first. Tommy Davidson himself. Make sure you call that number. Buy those tickets. Now you have no excuse for entertainment. You got him, and it's special. I can't wait to watch you actually live. And Tommy, thank you so much for doing this. Honestly, you're a legend.
This is Tommy Davidson. I'm chilling with Chanel Omari on Chanel in the City.